And we're going to start out all being fifth graders. You just came in from recess, so get loud. Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to settle down and we're going to start by womping. Does anybody remember what womping is? We're going to get a drink of water. We're going to take a deep breath, get some oxygen in our lungs, and then we're going to close our mind off and take some relaxing 30 seconds of just as we breathe. And then we're going to stand up and stretch it out. So go ahead and get your drink. So physically, if you want to get a drink, now would be the time. And then we're going to come back, and we're all going to do this within our time frame. Everyone has 4 minutes to do it. So go ahead and get your drink, and then come back to your seat, and close your eyes and take some breaths. Go now, students. If you don't want to get a drink, just go right into the deep breathing. So close your eyes, and just, yes, you can put your hands out if you like. And just take some deep breaths. We're going to kind of just bring ourselves together, clear our minds from recess. And then once you've taken some deep breaths, stand up and just stretch out those muscles. Oh, knees for some touches in your toes. Oh. And then once you're done, go ahead and sit down, and we'll begin. What we're talking about today, is mindfulness. And this, I wanted to get this big, but I couldn't get it. It kind of goes into certain things that go along with mindfulness. Things that just kind of make, you happy within yourself. What would make me happy? What would make you a better person? And the tree has different branches. There's ritual movements, like we just stretched and got our body kind of going. Relationship, how does my family affect me? Creativity, does singing and dancing make me happy? It's going to relax me before that big test I have in social studies later, those kinds of things. And then it goes into even stillness. And that was kind of our deep breathing, eyes closed, blocking out person next to you and relaxing. And these are the official definitions. It's not solely an education within a course, but it's an approach that offers a new way of understanding and educating with traditional and the Western. Kind of bringing everything into that nice little bubble we always try to, maintain without busting. And then mindfulness is paying attention to the here and now with kindness and curiosity. It connects the students to their 5 senses. It makes them think, what does that orange taste like? What does the air smell like? What do I hear? What do I see? What does that pencil feel like? Kind of making them just stop and appreciate what's around them and then take that kind of into their learning. Yep. It's creating an education that's filled with awareness, insight, compassion, but from a neutral point of view. If you have a student who is just not happy, you want to kind of bring them together and say, okay, what's not making you happy? And try to get them to a calm, rational voice to tell you. If they're still screaming at you, have them take those deep breaths and just kind of relax. Have them come to a kind of a central place within their thinking. You don't want them extremely angry and just throwing out verbal words at you. You want them to tell you, I am mad because, kind of that nice sentence, I am mad because, or I am hurt because, so-and-so pulled my hair, and it really hurt, or, I am really happy because I got an A, or, whatever it is. Just have them tell you without being like, oh my God, have them say, okay, I'm really excited because I got an A. They can still be excited, but they don't need to be bouncing or hitting and so forth. And it's kind of leaving behind the surface level learning and getting a deeper thought. Instead of just like history, here's your word shape, do your word shape, you can say, okay, George Washington did this because. Why do you think he did that? The whys. And it kind of starts with us as teachers. Practice it yourself. How many of you remember what you on the way to school today? Can you all name one thing if I'd ask you? Stacy, what's one thing you've seen on the way to school today?
I saw a kid wearing shorts today.
I have gotten to the point where I don't remember my drive. It's an hour drive. I couldn't tell you anything from it. Because I think we all take in the stress, but today I actually, like, after, putting this together, went, oh my gosh, I passed, those water things that spray water, what do you call it? Irrigation systems. I realized what I passed, and have you ever gotten halfway to school and said, deodorant on? Did I brush my teeth? I think sometimes we get so busy in our lives we don't stop and say, oh, yeah, we need to do this. Or, you have to stop and think. Like, the other Monday morning, I stepped out of the house and I'm like, I forgot my car keys. And I didn't realize it until I was in my car digging through everything going, that's common sometimes, but you just don't, it's right there on the hook. You forgot to grab it. You just got to stop and think sometimes. Walk away from the conversation without remembering a single thing you or that person said. Yes, it's embarrassing, but oh my gosh, especially I've noticed for myself, the more busy I am, the more I have on my plate, the less I remember about what's going on around me. Like getting dressed yesterday, I could not remember what I wore Monday or Friday, so I didn't want to repeat it for, today, so that's why I went with the dress, because I know I don't wear that for a long time. I'm not remembering, and I think that's where I have to, take some of these examples, go, stop, breathe, relax, and think. And then just, for your own class, it's okay to be honest with your students and say, you know what, that's a good question. Let's sit for a few minutes, think about it, and come back together. Whether it's, a subject, feelings, whatever. If you do it, if they see, or even if you get upset, like, they're not understanding lesson, you're getting upset, you say, I need a minute, students, and just go to your desk and explain it to them. They'll understand if you tell them what's going on. So that way they see you doing it, they know to take a deep breath when they're upset. It's also okay to disagree and then disrespect each other. That's an important thing to teach them too. How will this help the students? If we practice, relaxing and deep breathing, it's going to help reduce illness and stress, which will help them stay healthier and more confident in themselves when they do things. They will understand how to handle both the positive and the negative feelings. And I think that's important because we always teach kids how to handle those positive, but sometimes we forget to teach them how to deal with the negative things in life. And I think it's important to teach both and to show both yourself. Because we all get upset. We all are happy. And then to remember there's a difference between concentration, which is the focus on something, and the mindfulness, which is the awareness of the presence of mind. So it's kind of just, important to take both and remember how one is different than the other. Just sitting there concentrating is not, being mindful of what you're thinking of. And then it's kind of my takeaway. As instructors, we should encourage self-awareness, mindfulness, active listening with our students. If you're talking to a student, look them in the eye, listen to them, and even repeat a few key phrases and say, yes, I agree, this softball is fun, or whatever it is. Just, kind of, so that way they know you're not just going, yup, that kind of thing. Make it look like you're actively listening to them and they're important to you, and be mindful of how they feel and what they're saying. And then don't forget, their personal lives is what makes them them. And that's what makes them a student. So don't forget to integrate that into, how they think and how they learn. And, that's where, like, if they're a second language student, help them understand how English is important or how Spanish is important to, the class. That they're part of the class, so their language is important to the class. And then this can be as, simple as just integrating like that short little 5-minute thing in, or, one other thing I kind of found on, how to integrate it into your classroom is, okay, this is what we know, this is what we want to know, and this is what we are going to learn and think deeper about, kind of. Like, you could take mindfulness and just fill in the blanks too, and like, I knew it had to do with feelings. Oops. And I wanted to know how to integrate it, and now I know how. and I'm still learning, and I think it's a nonstop process on how to integrate it and put it into your lesson plans throughout the multiple grades. I think that's all I have for you. And my story, my activity is really simple, but that's what it was. And then resources, if anyone needs them, I can email them. But yeah, it's basically just relax and teach them how to be, aware of themselves.